I seek refuge in God from outcast Satan. In the name of Allah, who is gracious, merciful. Quran topics by Tanvir Kazmi. Chapter number 35. Charity. Helping others in need. English audio number 1. Al-Baqarah 2, verse 110. You shall observe prayers and give charity. Any good you send forth on behalf of yourselves, you will find it at Allah. God is here of everything you do. Al-Baqarah 2, verse 261. The example of those who spend their monies in the cause of God is that of a grain that produces 7 spikes, with 100 grains each spike. Allah multiplies this manifold for whomever He wills. God is bounteous knower. Al-Araf 7, verse 156. And decree for us righteousness in this world and in the hereafter. We have repented to you. He said, my punishment befalls whomever I will, but my mercy encompasses all things. However, I will specify it for those who lead a righteous life, give charity, help others, believe in our revelations, and follow the messenger, the Gentile prophet, whom they find written in their Torah and Gospel. He exhorts them to be righteous, enjoins them from evil, allows for them all good food, and prohibits that which is bad, and unloads the burdens and the shackles imposed upon them. Those who believe in Him, respect Him, support Him, and follow the light that came with Him are the successful ones. Al Anfal 8, verse 41. You should know that if you gain any spoils in war, one fifth shall go to Allah and the Messenger, to be given to the relatives, the orphans, the poor, and the traveling alien. You will do this if you believe in God and in what we revealed to our servant on the day of this decision. The day the two armies clashed, God has power over everything. Al Tawbah 9, verse 34. O believers, O believers, indeed many rabbis, monks consume people's wealth wrongfully and hinder others from the way of Allah. Give good news of a painful torment to those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend its God's cause. Announced unto them a most grievous penalty on the day when heat will be produced out of that wealth in the fire of hell, and with it will be branded their foreheads, their flanks, and their backs. Their flanks and their backs, this is the treasure which you buried for yourselves. Taste you, taste you, then treasure you buried, you hoarded. Al Rad, verse 22. They steadfastly persevere in seeking their Lord, observe prayers, spend from our provisions to them secretly and publicly, and counter evil with good. These have deserved the best living. They enter the gardens of Eden together with the righteous among their parents, their spouses, and their children. The angels will enter in it. The angels will enter into them from every door. Peace be upon you, because you steadfastly preserved. What a joyful, what a joyous destiny. Ibrahim 14, verse 31. Tell my servants who believe to observe the prayers and give charity, help others, from our provisions to them, secretly and publicly, before a day comes where there is neither trade nor nepotism. Al Nahl 16, verse 75. Allah cites the example of a slave who is owned and is totally powerless compared to one whom we blessed with good provisions, from which he gives to charity secretly and publicly. Are they equal? Praise be to God. Most of them do not know. Al Nahl 16, verse 90. Allah advocates just Allah advocates justice, charity, and regarding the relatives, and He forbids evil, vice, and transgression. He enlightens you. He enlightens you that you may take heed. 16 Surah 16, verse 126. And if you punish, you shall inflict an equivalent punishment. But if you resort to patience instead of revenge, it would be better for the patient ones. You shall resort to patience, and your patience is attainable only with God's help. Do not grieve over them, and do not be annoyed by their schemes. God is with those who lead a righteous life and those who are charitable. Bani Israel 17, verse 26. You shall give the due alms to the relatives, the needy, the poor, and the traveling alien, but do not be excessive, extravagant. The extravagant are brothers of the devils. The devil is unappreciative of his Lord. Even if you have to turn away from them as you pursue the mercy of your Lord, you shall treat them in the nicest manner. You shall not keep your hand stingily tied to your neck, nor shall you foolishly open it up, lest you end up blamed and sorry. For your Lord increases the provision for anyone he chooses, and he reduces it. He is a fully knower of his creature, seer. Bani Israel 17, verse 26. And render to the kindred their due rights, and give your relatives their due rights as to those in want and to the wayfarer, but squander not in the manner of spendthrifts. Verily, spendthrifts, the people who spend too much, are brothers of the Satans, and the Satan is to his Lord ungrateful. Make not your hand tied to your neck, nor stretch it forth to its utmost reach, so that you become blameworthy and destitute. Verily, your Lord does provide sustenance in abundance for whom he pleases, and he straightens, for he does know and regard all his servants. Bani Israel 17, verse 100. Say, if you possessed my laws, treasures of my mercy, if you possessed my laws, treasures of mercy, you would have withheld them, fearing that you might exhaust them. The human being is stingy. Al Kahf 18, verse 32. Cite for them the example of two men who gave one of them two gardens of grapes surrounded by date palms and placed other crops between them. Both gardens produced their crops on time and generously, for we caused a river to run through them. Once after harvesting, he boastfully told his friend, I am far more prosperous than you, and I command more respect from the people. When he entered his garden, he wronged himself by saying, I do not think that this will ever end. Moreover, I think this is it. I do not think that the hour the hereafter will ever come to pass. Even if I return to my Lord, I will possess an even better one over there. His friend said to him as he debated with him, have you disbelieved in the one who created you from dust, then from a tiny drop, then perfected you into a man? As for me, Allah is my Lord, and I will never set up any other God beside my Lord. When you entered your garden, you should have said, this is what God has given me. No one possesses power except Allah. You may see that I possess less money and less children than you. My Lord may grant me better than your garden. He may send a violent storm from the sky that wipes up your garden, leave it completely barren, or its water may sink deeper out of reach. Indeed, his crops were wiped out, and he ended up sorrowful, lamenting what he had spent on it in vain. As his property lay barren, he finally said, I wish I never set up any property or a God beside my Lord. No force on earth could have helped him against God, nor was it possible for him to receive any help. That is because the only true Lord and Master is Allah. He provides the best reward. With him is the best destiny. Al Kahf 18 verse 46. Money and children are are the joys of this life, but the righteous works provide an eternal reward from your Lord and a far better hope. Maryam 19 verse 29. Mary pointed out to him. They said, how can we talk with the infant in the crib? The infant Jesus Isa alayhis salam spoke and said, I am a servant of God. He has given me the book. He has appointed me a prophet. He made me blessed wherever I go and enjoined me to observe prayers and give charity, help others. For as long as I live, I am to honor my mother. He did not make me a disobedient rebel.